Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Western Wisconsin Journal. I'm John Knudsen. I'm here tonight with Lori Rayome and Ruth Peterson. We're going to be talking tonight about the Hudson Hot Air Affair. This is the 28th anniversary of the 29th year of the Hudson Hot Air Affair. Let's start with you, Ruthie. What can you tell me about what's your experience and knowledge of the Hot Air Affair? What are we going to see this year?
This year we're going to see a parade on Friday. We're going to see a 5K run on Saturday. We're going to see a couple of balloon launches, weather permitting, on Saturday. School programs on Friday. Fireworks on Friday evening after the parade. Smushboarding.
I heard that's run by a fairly handsome gentleman.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm pandering to the crowd here, aren't I? But Lori, tell me a little bit about the parade. What's your experience? How many people come to this parade in the middle of winter?
The parade is awesome. I've been on the vanishing point on top of inside a balloon, looking down Main Street of Hudson, and it is an awesome feeling that it is crowds deep. You're looking both sides, and all you do is see a sea of people. It's the shortest parade with the most people that comes out to it. It's when you go down around that corner and you see the flames going on the balloons, and the kids are coming out, and it is just thick of people.
It's called the Torchlight Parade for a reason.
It is awesome, and they love the heat.
So, Ruth, you're part of the security for the whole event, and what problems, if any, do you have with this raucous crowd on a Friday night?
Actually, the parade people are very, very conscientious of staying off the street. We have the Hudson Explorer group helping us with security on the street. But they love seeing the fire of the balloons, and they just love seeing the balloons and the different things that people that are in the parade. And like Lori said, the crowd is just amazing. I've seen it from riding in the parade too, in a basket, and it's 2 or 3, 4, 5 deep. It's just amazing.
I would estimate there's probably 2,000 to 3,000 people there every year for this parade, and it starts at the Wells Fargo Bank parking lot, comes down on 2nd Street, and then they turn right and head toward Dick's Bar. So it's all of about maybe a quarter of a mile.
Block and a half.
A block and a half. But it actually lasts probably 45 minutes to an hour, doesn't it?
Just to get through with there's quite a few parade units that go through there, and it's just, people are just loving it. They don't care how cold it is, they come out. It's amazing.
Well, it is a wonderful event. Before we get too far, we should talk a little bit about the history. This event actually started in 1990, and the founders were Evie Nurbin and Carla Timmerman at the time, and then we had Linda White, and the balloon pilot that really started it all was Rose Akins back in the day. Then there was some guy, I can't remember who that was, but 29th year this year, and it's just a fun event. Now, Wisconsin, I understand, has a custom-shaped balloon that you'll be involved with this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Wisconsin is the corporate sponsor for the event, and we are going to have the duck-shaped balloon, and his name is Richard. So that's going to be exciting for everyone to see and come out and see the fun shapes that we have in the parade. We always try to get a few fun shapes. The kids are always looking up to them. So it's going to be exciting to have a shape. We've had different colorful balloons in the past, and it's always been fun just to come out and talk to the pilots on the launch field. The kids get to come up to the baskets. So I love that hands-on that the kids get to have, and that we are able to be around all the people. So it's a lot of fun. So anxious to see the rubber duck named Richard.
Richard the Duck. Well, we want to thank Wisconsin for being the primary sponsor of this event. Without it, it'd be hard to hold it. Ruth, you've been associated again for a long time. When was your first Hot Air Affair?
I believe 1994.
Okay.
So I've been a long time.
Yeah. How did you get involved? Did your sister strong-arm you on this?
Pretty much. Family members and friends, yes, strong-armed me into doing this. And I started as just selling souvenirs the first year I was there. And then the next year I was asked to help do the parade, which I did a number of years. And then I pretty much ended up as the parade coordinator. and the launch field coordinator and the security coordinator. So I've grown from being a little souvenir person to a logistic manager.
Your sister has a lot of influence. When Evie asks you to help, you just do, right?
Yeah.
Now you have another sister that also helps, coming all the way from Las Vegas. Tell us a little bit about Yvonne.
Yvonne has been doing the hot air fair for pretty much the 29 years. She has missed a couple of years because of things that she could not make it back. But she does live in Las Vegas. When she lived here in Minnesota, Wisconsin area, she was a dedicated volunteer, and she still is, coming back from Las Vegas for 10 days and doing all kinds of behind-the-scenes things that the rest of us can't get to because most of us are working, and she has the time and she can do it.
Yeah, terrific. Well, most of us do as much as we can with the hot air affair, but the two unquestionable leaders of the hot air affair for all 29 years are Evie Nurbin and Carla Timmerman. Those guys have done a great job, and we're really appreciative of the time and effort that they put in. Lori, why don't you tell me a little bit about the theme this year for the event, and let's talk about the why.
Well, the theme is Touchdown Hudson XX1X, which is the 29th year of the Hudson Hot Air Fair, and it's a football theme tying in with the Super Bowl, and since that's when we moved the event date the weekend before the Super Bowl, so we could get a lot more people to come out. But it is a football theme, so we're going to have another balloon coming out in a shape of a football, and we're going to have some other events going on for the kids for events going on throughout the weekend to tie into the football theme of the Touchdown Hudson 11X1.
We might have as many people at the hot air fair as they have at the Super Bowl anyway. So
Yeah.
This year's theme, again with Touchdown Hudson, we have the Grand Marshals for the parade. The Torchlight Parade is going to feature a Hudson alum by the name of Barry Rose. Barry played a little bit in the NFL. And along with Barry, we're also going to have Coach Adam Cowles from Hudson High School, along with the Hudson High School football team. So we'll have a lot of kids involved. I think the enthusiasm will be great. Ruth, maybe tell me a little bit about, we've got some props here, but these little footballs have an actual purpose this year. What can you tell us about those?
Well, our little footballs here are going to be numbered, and we're going to have like a football drop or a football toss that people can donate $1, $2, $3, whatever they'd like for a little football, and then there's a prize involved at the end.
And we do have the money raised is going for a particular cause?
They're going to the Hudson Explorers because they've helped us out for the last, I would say, 5 years. And they're just a great group of kids. And they have a competition coming up in February. And they're always doing fundraisers on the side with food tents and things at craft fairs and like the music fest and things downtown. And so we thought that would be a good little fundraiser for them to help us try to, get the donations for the footballs. Plus, they'll be getting some money in the end for this too, for their competition in later in February.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Explorers help us throughout the weekend as well.
Correct.
And what do we have them doing?
They do the security at the parade. They walk up and down the streets to keep the kids and the people away from the traffic area, because because everybody wants to see the fire and the balloon, but we got to keep people away from them. They also do the parking at the school, and they sometimes have a smushboarding team, and they're just a super wonderful group of kids that we've been working with for the last number of years.
That's great. Working with the Hudson PD, though, you got to be careful if Chief Marty Jensen is there. I've been tased several times, and I don't think I ever deserved it, but I think my wife has probably paid to have that done. But we have a number of other events this year. We've obviously got the parade, ice carving. Lori, can you tell me a little bit about the ice carving? We have a gentleman coming and...
Well, they usually do the ice carving each year, and you can go out and watch it. Not sure what the actual theme is going to be this year.
It's going to be kind of a football theme,
yeah.
Doing a Bucky Badger with a
holding, I think
holding the Statue of Liberty or something.
Yeah.
It is
And I think
sponsored
that's because it's sponsored by Liberty Tax Service. That's right. So Bucky Badger. I can talk a little bit about smooshboarding too. We've done this for, gosh, 29 years. We probably for 25 years or so have done smooshboarding. And we call it the wackiest winter event out there. We call it the World Championships of Smooshboarding. And it's a team of 4 individuals that need to be strapped to 2 skis, and they run a little bit of an obstacle course that we create each year. It's just funny. We joke all the time that if you win the contest or you win the costume contest, you win prizes worth well under $10.
Well
and
under
so
$10.
It's unbelievable the international people that we get to come in. ESPN covers it, and you know all. Lori, you don't look like you're believing me at this point.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. I tell people for $10 you need to endure a little humiliation, and the crowd has a lot of fun. It's very participatory by the crowd. They like to cheer and hoot and holler, and if we have the smooshbucklers that come, they usually get a hearty boo. You know,
hearty boo.
It's easy to dislike the smooshbucklers, but I'm not sure Jimmy Kimblin, the leader of the smooshbucklers, is coming back this year after his retirement and heading to Florida. He might be tough to get back into the frozen tundra here for that event.
But isn't there a second generation there, John?
there is, so we're going to see if we can do that. Which one of you can talk a little bit about the craft fair?
Well, we have a very large craft fair that Lana is putting together inside the school gym. They can go in, and it's free admission, and it's a large craft fair. Vendors coming from all over. They also have food vendors going in there. They have different, it's a place to warm up if you are cold, so you can go in there and see all the vendors. And it's, I believe it opens up Saturday morning until 8 p.m. Saturday night. So it is a all-day event, but there is just things coming from all over. I mean, and it's just a good place to go that kind of gives you something to do when there's nothing on the field going on, or they're waiting for the balloons to get ready to launch. Come on in and see what the crafters have. Grab a hot cocoa. We're going to have some mugs that you can purchase this year, as in the past, and then there's just a lot of things that you can do on the inside, because there's also entertainment. We have some kids that do the singing. We have merchandise to be purchased. This is one hat that we're going to have offered this year, and then they also have clothing. In the past, we've had like pullovers. We have another pullover coming in we're going to be on sale. So come on in and see everything that goes on in the EP Rock right in the gymnasium.
Yeah, it's awesome. When you mentioned Lana, that's Lana Schoberg of Showcase Hats. Lana's been a participant and a helper for a number of years, and if you have not seen, she has the most unique creations of the polar fleece hats. I've got a couple myself. I've got my Rastafarian meets Bob Marley hat that I like to wear. It's got the braids, and it's black and white Holstein with braids. It's pretty cool. So Lana, thank you for those hats. They're incredible. And we were going to make Evie come up and model this. I don't think we can get her to do that. But, you know, folks, you can't see it, but she's right over there right now. So we also have a benefit tasting event on Saturday night. Are you familiar, Ruthie, with the American Cancer Society being the recipient for this event?
Yes, the tasting on Saturday night will start at 7 o'clock. It goes from 7 to 10. It's a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society. The Cloud Walkers relay team here in Hudson from St. Paul's Church will be doing quite a bit of the things, and so will Tammy Miller. We've chosen the American Cancer Society because there's a number of people that are in the church that have lost people to cancer or survivors of cancer, and also our committee on hot air fair, we do have cancer survivors and people dealing with cancer also. So we decided to go with the American Cancer Society.
I think we've lost a pilot recently.
Yes, we did. George Ibach, who was a pilot with us for a number of years. We lost him just this last year.
Yeah, incredible guy.
And a number of years before that, we've lost a couple of 2 or 3 pilots over the years to cancer.
And that will be located at the Hudson Grand Hotel, along with bingo in the afternoon on Saturday and bingo in the evening. We're going to have 2 different bingo events this year instead of just the one. So hopefully people that like to get out during the day, they can come out and join us in the afternoon at 2 o'clock, and then they're going to be doing it again at the Hudson House, and that's going to be again, I believe, at 6:30. And so come on and join that. So having the 2 is going to be something new this year.
Well, that's another big thank you we should give is to the Hudson House Grand Hotel. Stuart and Cindy Schultz have been great supporters of our event. Carla Timmerman has worked there a number of years, obviously, and but the Schultz clan does a great job in allowing us to have our pilots, and a lot of the people stay at the facility. But they have been tremendous supporters for years, so thanks to them and Cindy, great job with that. Other events that we have, and you guys can tell me which one of you wants to talk. We got a painting class with Audrey Martin, and we have a little feature here. I thought this was a Rembrandt originally, but maybe have either of you done?
I have
you
done
done the painting?
Not this one this year, but the painting class that Audrey does is fabulous. I've got a couple different paintings that I've done, and no matter who you are, you can do her class because she's very good at what she does, and you can do this. I believe this one is done by Evie. And so
nice.
Evie is, she became an artist and she didn't even know she was an artist.
Yeah. See, with me, when I get done painting something like that, when they can't tell what it is, I just say, well, it's abstract, and that's right. I mean, can't you just kind of get away with that? This is obvious that Evie did a pretty good job because you can tell those are 3 hot air balloons, right?
There it is, and Audrey does step-by-step
And what am I
awesome.
most proud of with Evie? She did green and gold for the Packer theme on the Packer balloon there. So good job, Evie. Thanks for doing that.
I can't even do paint by number.
No, would you get the numbers mixed up?
Probably, yeah.
So it helps to be able to read and do alphabet and things like that. All right, we have breakfast crafts for kids at Dick's Bar.
That is going to be at Dick's on the 20th of January, and also before, we have some number of events set up for January. Yeah. The first Saturday or the Sunday, January 7th, will be at the Ice Castles in Stillwater, and then I believe the 13th will be at Family Fresh or County Market, one of the 2, and then we'll also be at the YMCA camp with a candlelight stroll with skiing or snowshoeing, and then another Saturday we'll be at the other store with Family Fresh or County Market. I'm not sure on the dates yet. These are pre-events, and then also the Phipps Center will be doing a craft thing for the kids on the weekend before the event, so they can be in the parade. They can make little things that they're going to be in the parade for.
Yep. One other event we have too is a candlelight cross country ski and hike at the YMCA Camp St. Croix, also as a pre-event. So then on Friday, one of the things that has been done for years is we have some of the pilots, and along with Barry Rose, one of our Grand Marshals this year, is going to be participating in educational programming at the schools. And I get a kick out of every year how they'll inflate a balloon in a gymnasium and they'll have all the kids sit inside the balloon. It's really quite an experience if you haven't ever seen it or done it. And the kids just absolutely love it. So the education programming is wonderful on Friday.
And the pilots really enjoy doing that too.
Yeah, they do.
They really do. And they do like to see how many kids they can get into their balloons.
And then we have a retail promotion with prizes and lucky button numbers. Then, of course, Lori, you talked about the Torchlight Parade on Friday night. The fireworks this year will be sponsored by Anderson Window. We thank them for their participation. They've been a sponsor for 24 years, so a long-time sponsor. And then there's evening entertainment throughout Hudson, so it's a great night out on the town. You got to go to the parade. Well, I'm guessing most of you have, with the thousands that have been there. It always surprises me every year how many people are at the parade. and the burning, the burning of the baskets and stuff with the torch lights lighting up and singeing the wires across the roads.
Not anymore.
The Public Works Department may have some issues with that, but it's actually pretty neat. So Saturday then, the first thing we have a pancake breakfast, and is that Lions? The Masonic Lodge is sponsoring the pancake breakfast. They do a great job with that. So in the first launch, people start accumulating on the fields about 7 a.m., 7:30.
7-ish, 6:30.
Now, one thing we can agree on with pilots, timing isn't necessarily their thing.
No.
Right? I mean, I got to be careful there. Some are going to get upset, but most pilots are a little casual when it comes to the clock. You're not quite sure if it's Central Standard Time or Mountain Time or Pacific or something like that. But the first flight expected, and again, you can always go on a number of the media sources to find out whether or not they will fly, which when you get used to this whole event, you learn to look online. The website, HudsonHotAirAffair.com, will have that information. WCCO, I think, has...
New Richmond, possibly.
Yeah,
and
so a number of outlets.
Facebook.
So take a look before you get all bundled up and you head out to the launch field. First flight is usually around 8 o'clock or so. Who's our balloon meister this year? Do you know that? Do we have
Ken Walter, Jim Wolin, Dale Dahmer. It's the same group of guys pretty much that we had last year.
Terrific.
It's more of a group.
So then we've talked a little bit about the marketplace fair that'll be inside EP Rock's school and gymnasium. There's a run. Who wants to steal Katie Jones's thunder and talk a little bit about the run? It's getting to be quite popular. I think she has over 100 participants.
She has more than that. She was talking.
She
it's
was
probably
like 130 last year.
Creeping up on the 200. But people come from all over coming. I've talked to people over in Minnesota that come over to the run. They love the run because it's a flat run. Yeah. And Katie and her husband Daryl do an awesome job at getting the race together. Getting the swag bags together. People love the swag bags. You get the T-shirt.
And I love the finish line that they've built. They've got these big columns and custom painted. They make it a big deal. They've got timers, very official. I mean, it's a race.
It's a great race.
I want to make it very clear that my running is limited to sprinting from my couch to my refrigerator and back.
I can do the race in less than 20 minutes, and that's going over to Mount Zion Church and back again on the four-wheeler.
So you're not following the race route?
No, but I can do it in 19 to 20 minutes.
Okay, well, that's pretty good. Now, Lori, you look like you could be a runner. Are you a runner?
Well, I've done 5Ks before, and I've done hills. So I have not been able to do Katie's run because I'm usually volunteering at the time. Yeah. But one of these times I'm going to step back and try to do Katie's, because the people that come out, you can walk the race, you can run the race, it doesn't matter. It just brings the family out. You got little kids doing it, you've got adults doing it, you've got young and old doing it. Yeah. So everybody needs to come out. People come from Minnesota, they come from all over to run in Katie's race. Katie's got
they do a great job. They have refreshments along the course, I believe.
And then she's got some food coming back when you get back in. There's usually some snacks for you, and Katie takes good care of you.
And the race is at 10 o'clock. It's registration at 9 at Mount Zion Church, which is right across the street from EP Rock School. And I believe there's registration online also.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the Octagon House. They usually are open and provide tours and things. It's a wonderful historic site in Hudson that's pretty famous. Minnesota Kite Society is another group that's come, and their kites are spectacular.
Yes,
they put on quite a show during the day.
Out on the launch field, yep.
And obviously Smooshboard, we talked about. We have a pet costume contest. Do you know anything about the pet costume contest?
It's at Angel's Pet World. People bring their pets, their dogs, their cats, their guinea pigs, their birds, whatever kind of pet they have, dress them up, and then there's prizes for the most.
Now, one of our members, Linda White, has a couple of pooches that she normally dresses up. So I'm guessing Linda's going to be heavily involved with that.
She could be, yes. And one time she had her I can't remember, her guinea pig, I think,
Yes.
dressed up for one of the peck.
Yes, and doesn't her daughter or somebody in the family have even a boa constrictor or something that we saw at one time involved?
Iguana.
Okay.
Iguana.
So they've got quite a zoo in that
Yes.
family. We've got bingo, 2 sessions at the Hudson House Grand Hotel. It's going to be on Saturday as well, and then evening entertainment throughout the town. Sunday we start over again. Well, we have an afternoon flight on Saturday as well. And we should talk about Moonglow too, one of the more spectacular things. Maybe a little on the Moonglow, Lori.
The Moonglow, awesome. Now, if it is windy, they do the Field of Fire. The Field of Fire, the way they set up the pilots with their balloons, it is just so welcoming and cool to see. But if it is not windy and the balloons do expand and they stand up and light up, it is a gorgeous, awesome photo opportunity to take pictures. You go out and you can meet the pilots at that time. They stand up the balloons, you can watch them stand them up. They do the Moonglow, and then you watch them deflate, and it's just a spectacular event if you can see the Moonglow.
Well, the pictures, I'm reminded of the term Chinese lanterns, because when the balloons are lit up and the pilots will burn consecutively or together, and when the field lights up, it is incredible. Some balloons in the past for the Moonglow have tethered, and they'll actually raise 10 or 20 or 30, 40 feet in the air and stuff. So depending on the weather, it can be spectacular. And whether it's the Ring of Fire or whether it is the full Moonglow, either way, it's a great event.
It's a beautiful night. Yeah. Great pictures.
So on Sunday, we also have a Lake Malilu Kids Fishing Derby as well. Now that sounds to me like it's new.
It is new.
And,
it was new last year.
You know, I'm not sure who sponsors that in the brochures. I'm sure that's well defined, but we thank somebody for taking advantage of putting that event together. We've got our first annual hot dish contest and brews at Hop and Barrel. The Hop and Barrel is the new brewery
downtown Hudson,
right downtown beside Pudge's location there. And so hot dish contest. That sounds like it'll be fun.
Yes.
And John mentioned the brochures, and they'll be ready by the first of the year. So we'll be getting them into the local businesses here in town. And if you would like to request one, you can just contact the Hot Air Fair.
Well, and you can look at any business that has a big poster in their window too, and they'll have brochures there.
Correct.
And most of them can tell you almost anything you want to know about it too. It's after this long, 29th annual. Gosh, I was only 3 when I started with it. Anyway, so let's end this way. Let's, if I can ask each of you, Ruth, we'll start with you. What's your favorite memory of the Hot Air Affair?
Oh, there's a lot of memories. I think my best memory is when I first flew. And that was like the first year as my souvenir person, I got to fly in the balloon. It was just amazing. And I was like off the ground for days. And actually I was still on the ground, but I was like in the air for days. It was just amazing. But I just love to see the Moonglow and the Field of Fire and just watch the balloons leave the ground on the flights. It's just an amazing event.
How about you, Lori?
I'd have to agree. I've flown, I believe, 3 times, and the very first time it was serene. You see everybody on the ground, and they're looking up at you, and actually the dogs usually are running away because they don't like the noise
burners,
of the burners.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's so serene, and people say, "Oh, isn't it cold up there?" Amazingly, no. Because you're dressed for it, but when you're up there, you're right by the burners, and the view that you get is just amazing. And you watch the other balloons that's flying next to you, and I was participating that particular in a game for the pilots of who could get the closest to the X throwing something over the edge. It was a beanbag, and it was my particular pilot actually won that year. And I got to throw it, and I landed the closest to the spot. Never done it in my life. Never been in a balloon. I thought I had fear of heights, but that was not the case. So
and I've been at the other end of that toss where I was down getting the bean bags off the X and almost got hit by those bean bags. So you can throw them, I can get hit by them.
Well, you know, most of the general public probably doesn't understand, but the pilots actually compete in the competitive event during the race where it is a beanbag toss. It's called the Hare and Hound, and so the hare will take off first. And depending on what level you're flying at, you'll catch streams of wind, and that's how you navigate. You know, you don't have a lot of control, and you have to find where the streams of air are. And so the hounds all chase the hare balloon. The hare will land and put a 12-foot, I think it's a 12-foot X on the ground or something like that. One. And then the hounds are all the following balloons, and they try to throw the beanbag on, and it's great fun. So when you ride in the balloon, it's actually a bit competitive for them. What a lot of people don't understand, I've heard a million people say, well, I bet it's really windy up there, and it's like, well, actually, since you're floating with the wind, you don't feel the wind. And so it's very comfortable. And for whatever reason, I've said too, I've flown a couple of times, you don't get the feeling of height for some reason. You know, it's amazing. There are people who said, I'm scared of heights, but when they get in a hot air balloon, it really is quite pleasant. With my memories of all 29 years, it's 50 different things. It's working with Evie and Carla and Linda and Rose Akins and you two and others that has been a blast. I have stepped back. I weenied out a little bit where I do smooshboarding and a few events for these folks, but you guys that meet weekly for almost all 52 weeks of the year, you guys really deserve a lot of credit. And so the fun that I've had with Larry Nicolay, Bubba has been my pilot for a number of years. Steve LeMay, part of the old Red Barons crew. I just had a blast back in those early years flying with the Red Barons and getting to know the guys. The pilots are just phenomenal people.
They're wonderful. They're more than
the size of their heart can't be measured. They like you said, the educational component. They love teaching kids. They love showing people the craft that they participate in as a hobby and a passion. It's just wonderful. So the memories. I'm hoping the best memories are yet to come.
Oh, and I've had more than that too. It's just amazing. But to deal with these pilots and they're just fantastic people. The committee people and our sponsors, our partners that we've had throughout the years have just been fantastic.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been to the Hot Air Fair, we thank you. It will be spectacular again this year, and weather permitting, hopefully we can get the flights off this year. Even if they don't, there's a million activities to participate in. It's great for the city of Hudson. On behalf of Lori Rayome, Ruthie Peterson, myself, John Knutson, along with the rest of the committee, thanks very much, and we hope to see you at the Hot Air Fair this year in January.